Hey, here's a special episode on this podcast. This is a call that I did about a month ago, and it was how to break through certain plateaus on your weight loss journey. So take a listen to this podcast.
Welcome to the What Up Doc University podcast, your number one resource for total body wellness. Here's your host, Dr. Mike.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me on the call, and Happy New Year to everybody. And so it's the beginning of the new year, and one of the most common resolutions that people make is that they are they wanting to lose weight. They wanting to maybe make some resolution to get to the gym more or whatever. Everybody wants to do something new, but one of the most popular ones that I see in practice is everybody wants to lose weight. So people are doing the common things. They're trying to cut back on calories, and they're trying to go to the gym more and all of this stuff. And a lot of us in Yoli Nation, we're starting the Better Body Resolutions, and we're starting up on transformation kits. But one of the things that I started to notice, over the past years of being in Yoli, it's kind of fun to say now that it's been years in Yoli, is that people get good results, but some people, and there's a handful of people, and this may be you, or this may be a customer, or this may be somebody that may be in your organization, that you may run into this problem where they're not getting the results that they want, or their weight loss may have hit a stall or a plateau. So over the past couple of years, I've been kind of toying with this and looking at, well, what can we do? And how can we break through these little barriers and these plateaus? So what I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight is some of these effective strategies that I've used clinically, and I've seen that we've done with a handful of people to kind of get their weight loss going, kind of cranking up that engine, and also getting their body to a point where they're able to get the results that they want. Because, face it, when people jump on the Better Body System, their whole goal is to lose weight. That's why a lot of people jump on it. But, if you guys remember the videos where I used to say, weight loss is a side effect. Gaining your health is the main goal of what we're doing, but weight loss is a side effect. Now, what I want you guys to do is, I want you, if you guys aren't taking notes, take out your notes. I'm going to give you guys give you a little bit of time. Get out your pens and papers. Get out your notebooks. If you're driving, don't worry about that. Don't try and take notes while you're driving. That's kind of crazy. But I'm going to give you guys lists of things that you guys can do for yourself, or you guys can pass this information on to your people. Okay. So for effective weight loss strategy, I want you guys to first understand why the body is even gaining weight in the first place. You got to understand that the body is doing certain things because of certain things, right? So like, if you get hungry, that's your body's, mechanisms of telling you that it needs more fuel. If you're getting thirsty, that's your body's way of telling you that it needs more water. Okay. So when your body is gaining weight, that's a sign that it's telling you that you're either eating too many or intaking too much calories, or not getting rid of enough calories, or that there's some type of hormonal pathway that's not working effectively. Okay. So the way that our bodies are designed is we're designed for a feast and famine environment, meaning that in hunter-gatherer days, we either had a feast where an animal would come along and would feast on that animal, or we'd have a harvest of our crops and would feast upon that. And what the body would do with that food that we'd intake that is that it would use a part of that for energy, but the rest of it would store for times of famine. Because food availability back in hunter-gatherer days wasn't as available as today. So as we ate the food, our body has created mechanisms to store this food, and the way that it stores the energy is in the form of fat. Okay? So now when we go into times of famine, the body would then utilize all that stored fat for energy to sustain us. That's the way that the body works. So when you eat, insulin would come across and then utilize that blood sugar for energy, and it would also utilize that energy and store it as fat. And then when you're not eating, the body would then secrete another hormone called glucagon, which would then break down what you stored and use that for energy. So your glycogen storages, and then it also stimulate the stored fat. Now, the problem that we run into nowadays is that we don't go into a feast and famine mode. We're constantly in a feast mode. So our bodies are still programmed to store food. So we're eating, we store, and we use energy, right? We eat some more, and if we don't utilize the stored energy, it just keeps accumulating and accumulating and accumulating to a point where the accumulation of all this fatty tissue now creates an improper hormonal pathway, because the fat cells will secrete hormones in and of itself. Hey, I'm not going to get into the biochemical processes of it all, but it throws off your hormonal balance. So if we understand why the body's gaining weight, we can then utilize that principle of feast and famine. Okay? So here's what I want you guys to do. When you guys are starting off the better body system, starting off the transformation kit, you're gonna look through and you're gonna get yourself started, and you got to know where you're starting from. Right? You want to make some notes. Where am I starting from? How much do I weigh? What are my measurements? How do I feel? And then here's what I want you guys to do. After you weigh yourself, take your measurements, you take your pictures, you do all that fun stuff. I want you to throw away the scale. Okay? I want you to throw away the scale. I do not want you guys to track your weight while you're doing the better body system. Okay? Because weight is not a good measurement of your progress, of how you're doing on the system. I'll explain that. Why? And the only things I want you to track your progress is the tape measure, because you're going to measure your arms, your thighs, your hips, abdomen, and you're also going to use how you're feeling as your measuring stick. Do not look at the scale. Okay? There's a whole reason for that. Okay? Now, here's some fun things that you guys can do. All right. So before you start the transformation kit, 2 days prior to starting, what you can do, and this is like if you really want to kick up the weight loss strategy, this is something I do in practice as well. Okay. So prior to starting the transformation kit, 2 days prior to it, you're going to do a water fast using fun. And you're going to start the loading dose with alkali. So this is 2 days prior. So say you're going to start on a Monday. So on Saturday and Sunday, you're going to be doing a water fast, meaning that all you're going to be doing is consuming water with fun, and you're going to be doing your loading dose of alkali. And if you want to keep this up even further, you're going to add in enzymes, 3 of those 4 times a day. The reason being with this is you're going to start depleting your glycogen stores in this time. Because a lot of people, their bodies actually during their first 2 days on the kit, they actually don't deplete it enough. Okay, so the water fast with fun and the loading dose of alkali starts to deplete those glycogen stores so that your body can start switching into a fat burning mode. The enzymes, what it'll do is start helping your body get into, instead of using the majority of the enzymes in your body for digestion, we're going to now use it for metabolic processes. Because every metabolic process in your body, especially lipolysis is the breakdown of fat, it needs enzymes. It needs an enzymatic activity. So you're going to start flooding your body with enzymes. You're going to take 3 capsules 4 times a day. Total of 12 capsules per day. So your first 2 days, you're going to be doing somewhere about 24 to 28 capsules of enzymes. Now, you're going to start the transformation kit. You're going to follow the transformation kit, right? Your orange days and your blue days. Okay? I want everybody doing their loading dose of alkali because most people's bodies are too acidic. If you're too acidic, the ability for your body to, decrease the fat cells is going to be very difficult. So this is why you're starting to do the loading dose. You want to flush out all that interstitial fluid or the spaces in between the cells of all of the buildup of lactic acid and all the metabolic acidic waste products. So we're going to start to flood that out. That's the reason why we did the water fast too, is to hydrate your body. Most people's connective tissues, so this is all the spaces in between the cells, most people's connective tissues are flooded with toxins. So we gotta flush that out if you're gonna get an effective weight loss. Now, by the way, backing up a little bit, the fatty tissues, this is what most people want to lose, right? All that fatty tissues, this is stored right below the skin, okay? And the skin needs a lot of hydration. Now, the reasons why a lot of people won't get that dramatic weight loss is because their body's not hydrated enough. So we want to hydrate the body. This is another reason why I find clinically why people have carbohydrate cravings. And it's not necessarily for the sugar, but if you look at the word carbohydrate, right, there's water in sugars, carbohydrate. So the body is actually dehydrated and it wants to hydrate. So you're going to crave more sugars. So an easy way to curb that craving is to just drink more water. Okay? You got to drink more water. Now, going back to the transformation kit, you're going to do your orange days and blue days. I do not recommend doing any type of free days. The reason being is most people, when they're doing free days, they're throwing off their metabolic activity. Your body is, remember, it's all about hormonal balance. So if you're going to remember that when insulin is being secreted, that the body will never, ever break down fat. So what happens when most people go on a free day is that they stimulate insulin and it throws off the entire cycle. So the body goes into this storage mode, right? Go back to the feast and famine. If we go into a total feast, the body will then store it because it senses, well, a couple of days prior, we were in famine mode. So the body's preparing for another famine. So when you go into the feast mode, what happens is you don't utilize that food for energy. It goes straight to storage. Okay? This is why I don't recommend free days, is we want to keep the bodies bouncing back and forth between feast and famine, not just going into storage during the feast mode. Now, during your first week, your body's going to deplete the glycogen stores, and then you're going to be increasing detoxification. This is when we see people get dramatic weight loss because their body is depleting a lot of the glycogen stores. You're going to see you may have some headaches, you may have some rashes, joint pains, you may be fatigued. This is all part of the detoxification reaction. For most people, this is actually normal. This is actually something that you want to happen because your body's being overburdened with toxins for all these years. Cleaning out your body is not a pretty process. So if you're going through the first week and you may feel tired and all this kind of stuff, know that you've been doing this to your body for a lot of years and it's going to take some time. So give it that week and, just roll with it, okay? So the first week, this is what's going to happen. That's actually a normal thing to happen. So you're going to lose some weight, and then usually what we see is by weeks 2 and 3, maybe towards the end of week 2 going into week 3, the body hits a new state of normal, okay? And I want to talk about this for a little bit. The body is always looking to be in a new state, and it doesn't like to vary a lot, right? So take like just different measurements in your body, right? Temperature, for example. If you go above a certain temperature in your body, we call that a fever, right? We call it hyperthermia. If your body goes below that temperature, we call it hypothermia. The body is doing everything that it can possibly do to maintain that normal, 97.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So if the body temperature raises to 100 degrees, what happens is the body starts to perspire, you start to sweat. So it's trying to give off the heat so it gets back to normal. If the body is going too cold, you start to shiver, so it starts to generate heat to get back to normal. Same thing happens in weight loss. Your body senses that it's now burning fat for energy. You've depleted the glycogen stores, so it's saying, well, I don't have enough energy to run the body by using sugar, so I need to go to another source, which is either protein or fats. Now, fats, by the way, ultimately becomes the last source for your body to burn energy. So it'll go sugar, protein, and then fats. So most of the time, what happens during the any type of weight loss program is you'll deplete sugar and then you'll break down muscle tissue. This is the reason why we have stuff like the Yoli Essential Shake, is to restore all of that depleted protein that's being broken down in the muscle tissue. And the undenatured whey protein is one of the best sources to replenish that breakdown. Okay. Now, when the body starts to hit that new normal, what we call that new normal level, what we need to do is we need to start shifting things. Okay. Now, how do we do that? Well, what we need to do is we need to start changing the different fuel that we're giving our body. Now, this is what I've been finding with a lot of people, is that they've been looking at their orange days and blue days, and they've been actually eating pretty much the exact same thing the entire kit. They have maybe like turkey slices and almonds and string cheese, maybe a can of tuna or something like that, and they eat the exact same things. So you're giving the body the same type of fuel. What you have to do is you have to change things up. I recommend not eating the same thing, within a 3-day span. You got to give your body that ability to utilize different sources of fuel, and it'll start to use it differently. Right? Now, here's another tip. This is actually a really important tip that I don't think most people apply to the transformation kit. You may hear people start to hit an energy dip. Now this, you may be questioning on that, like, why should a person have a low energy during this time when they're doing a transformation kit? Well, even if they're doing passion, sometimes their body just isn't effective at burning the fuel. Now, what I recommend during this time, and this is probably about weeks 2 or 3, sometimes it happens in weeks 1, but weeks 2 and 3, you want to add in more fats. Now, I know what a lot of people think when you hear that word. I don't want to eat any fat while I'm doing the transformation kit, because we've been educated or we've been taught that fats equate to being fat, and that's actually totally false. Okay, fats are a great source of energy. They actually have no insulin, response in the body, but you're giving your body energy. So this is a great way to add in, good forms of energy. Now, the fat that I'm talking about is good fats, like your fish oils, coconut oil, avocado oil. If you really want to ramp up how your body burns fat for energy, there's going to be a very interesting one that really makes people scratch their heads when I tell them this. But eating raw butter. Okay. So what I have some patients do that they're stuck in their cycle of trying to lose weight. I have them eat somewhere between 4 to 5 tablespoons of raw butter every single day for about 2 weeks. Raw butter and also heavy cream. Maybe about a liter of heavy cream. And I know a lot of you guys are like looking at me through the telephone right now, and you guys are like shaking your head and being like, I don't understand, doc. That's kind of weird, right? You're eating raw butter and heavy cream, but these will actually ramp up your body's metabolic rate. And it's a strange thing. I'm not going to get into the whole science of it, but about 4 tablespoons of raw butter, a liter of heavy cream. If you really want to ramp up, how your body burns fat for energy. Okay. So now getting back to the food choices, I want people to start making good choices in foods. We got to get away from just eating those, like a handful of almonds and all this kind of stuff. Start to learn about healthier food choices. And this is not something that we're going to talk about all in this call, but there's so much information out there that you guys can learn about healthier food choices and also learn what works with your body. That's a really big thing, is learning what you like and also what your body agrees with. And the one thing I want everybody to start to get away from is the reliance on string cheese on the transformation kit. We got to get away from string cheese. I see too many people eating, hormone-laden string cheese, and it's just wreaking havoc upon your digestive tracts, creating a lot more inflammation. And this is ultimately one of the reasons why I see people stall in their weight loss on the Better Body System. So string cheese, guys, stay away from that as much as possible. Okay. Hydration, guys. You remember I told you the body craves carbohydrates because it wants hydration. You've got to be drinking good, clean water. 1 liter for every 50 pounds of body weight plus a liter on top of that. So the average person who's about 150 pounds should be drinking about 4 liters of water. If you're about 200 pounds, you're drinking somewhere about 6 liters of water every single day, because you're flushing your body. People, the first part when you're starting this is very difficult for people to do, but as you go along through the transformation kit, your body starts accepting water, and you're going to start to notice that getting in those 4 or 5 liters of water a day is not a problem after that. Another very, very important strategy that a lot of people don't comprehend, or they just look over, is sleep. You got to get good sleep. Okay, sleeping is the time when your body detoxifies. This is the time when the body's rebuilding and getting rid of all that excess garbage. Okay? So when your cells actually get rid of the triglycerides that store within the fatty tissues, it has to be processed by the liver, and the liver's most active at nighttime. And if you're not getting enough sleep and you're not getting quality sleep, the liver's not able to process those excess triglycerides and get it out of your body. So what happens is you get rid of those triglycerides from the fatty tissues, and if you don't process it correctly, it goes right back into storage. Okay. This is why we see a lot of people who they're not getting enough rest properly. You see them go on a transformation kit, and their liver enzymes will raise, and their triglycerides will raise, and their blood sugar levels will raise. It's because their body is not processing all that stuff that they're getting rid of properly. So getting proper sleep and quality sleep is very, very important. If you're not getting proper sleep and quality sleep, you need to be using something like Dream to help you get into rapid eye movement quicker and staying there longer. Okay, so sleep. The next one that everybody should be doing is proper breathing. Okay, I don't know if you guys know this, but the way that when fat breaks down, the way that it actually leaves your body is through your breath. Most people do not breathe properly. You're not getting enough oxygen in, and oxygen is one of the things that your body needs to make energy and to increase your metabolic rate. You need to be breathing in properly, so you know how to take in oxygen, getting your full lung capacity. Okay. There's a product that you guys can actually go look up on Amazon. It's called Breathe Slim. It will actually teach you to breathe properly, how to use your diaphragm muscles. This is one that we use in practice, called Breathe Slim. I think it's like $30-$40. You can find it on Amazon, and this is really an important tool to help you to regulate your breathing and to help you to breathe from the diaphragm. Most people actually don't breathe from the diaphragm. They breathe from their shoulders. Okay, so breathing is very, very essential to this. Okay. And then I know a lot of times we skip over this part, but I find that adding in proper levels of exercise and movement during the transformation kit is going to be one of those things that will really take you to that next level. So what I recommend during your first week, you're going to be taking it easy your first week. Even if you've been on an exercise regimen, I want you to taper off of that. Go easy on that first week. Maybe you're just going to do a walk or something like that just to keep moving. But your first week, let your body acclimate to what it's, all the detoxification, and then, getting to a lower amount of caloric input, a lower amount of, or a lower metabolic state. That's your first week. Let your body do its thing. On your second week, you can start adding in moderate exercise. Maybe you're going to get your heart rate up a little bit by doing some aerobic exercise, maybe some resistance training during the second week. And then this is where it gets fun. This is where you're going to stop the body from hitting that plateau. On your third and fourth week, you want to introduce high-intensity interval training. Now, if you don't know what that is, there's a lot of information on the internet you guys can find about high-intensity interval training. This is something where you're doing at a high intensity, and then you're resting, go again, high intensity and rest, high intensity and rest. So this is something that you can do to shock the system so that your body is not getting complacent at one level. This is something that you can do to really get your body into a fat burning mode. Okay. Also, one other thing that I find that people do wrong with exercise is that they're working out at a too high of a heart rate for too long of a time. Okay, if you're working out at a higher heart rate for your body's going to be burning sugar for energy, not necessarily fat. Okay, so what I recommend for people, and this is a very simple formula, it's take your age and then you subtract that from 180. Right, so 180 minus however old you are. So say you're 40 years old. 180 minus 40 is 140. So that's going to be your top. That's your max heart rate that you're going to be exercising at. You minus 10 from that, which would be 130. So you're going to be exercising at a target heart rate range between 130 and 140 beats per minute. And you want to stay in that zone for about 20 minutes. Okay, so I recommend that during your second week, getting into that target heart rate zone. When you're doing the high intensity, you're going to be doing maybe like 3 to 4 times a week of high intensity interval training. The other days, you're going to be doing moderate exercise, okay, along with doing the transformation kit. You guys are going to see, those of you guys that are in like weight loss competitions right now, whether it's the New Year, New You competitions, or you guys have, competitions at work or whatever, I can guarantee you guys do this, you guys stick to it, you guys are going to kill the competition. Because this is the stuff that will get your body to the next level. Okay, so I'm going to recap just a little bit, right? Throw away the scale after your first weigh-in. Throw it away until, maybe not throw it away, but put it away, put it in the closet until you've gone through your program, and then come back out and see where you're at. You want to track by only using the tape measure and how you feel. Water fasting for your first 2 days prior. You can do with fun, alkylate, and enzymes. Remember, T-kit, you want to do your loading dose with the alkylate during your T-kit. No free days. Okay? And then, you want to switch things up. Make sure that you're eating different foods. You want to cycle your foods. Don't eat the same foods every single day. Stay away from string cheese. Make sure you're drinking your water. Get enough sleep. Learn how to breathe. Do your exercise regimen. Okay? And then remain consistent. Just remain consistent and understand and remember why you started this in the first place. And then after you're finished with it, go into a lifestyle change, because this is just the start, guys, right? You don't want to be the person that does this and then a month later you went back to that lifestyle that got you there in the first place. This is a lifestyle change. This is something that you're doing to help your body, not necessarily for the weight loss, guys. You don't want to do this just to lose weight. You want to gain health, right? Because as you gain health, weight loss is just a side effect. That's all I have, folks.
All right. Hopefully you guys got some good information out of that. Now, I have a special gift for you guys who are listening to this. I know a lot of you have been asking about, well, how do I exactly do this? What do I implement? So I put together a little cheat sheet for you guys on how to jumpstart or get over this plateau. So if you go to www.whatupdocuniversity.com/episode 42, you can check out the show notes there, and then you'll be able to download the cheat sheet guide. And like I said before, if you guys are enjoying this, we would appreciate if you share this with your friends and family and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, because that gets us noticed. And one of our goals for 2017 is to double our listenership so that we can help more people to get the proper information so that they can understand the health information that they're being they're being bombarded with it. And what we do is we give you a clearer understanding about all of that stuff. So again, go to whatupdocuniversity.com /episode 42 to get the cheat sheet, and leave us a 5-star review and share this with your friends and family. And till next time, this is Dr. Mike Okouchi from whatupdocuniversity.com signing off, saying be well and aloha.